Have you started to develop flabby arms as you age? Or maybe you've noticed loose, sagging skin that jiggles when you shake your arms. That's a very common complaint that I hear of from middle-aged and postmenopausal women. Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Candy, and in this video, I'll explain what causes flabby arms, as well as 6 exercises that you can use to tighten loose, sagging skin around your arms. And if you stay to the end of the video, I'll share some additional tips besides just exercises that you can use to help with loose, sagging skin. But before we get into the exercises, it first helps to understand what causes flabby arms in the first place. As you age, your skin starts to lose its elasticity. After the age of 25, you start to lose about 1% of the collagen and elastin fibers each year. And the collagen, the elastin, are the fibers that allow skin to stretch out and then recoil to its normal length. Additionally, as you age, and particularly post-menopause, when estrogen levels drop, but testosterone levels also drop, you lose some of the fat, but also muscle that makes up the contour inside your skin. So if you have more stuff inside the skin stretching it out, and then you lose that stuff inside, and the skin can't recoil to make up for that lost space, you develop this loose, sagging skin underneath your arms. Now, it does become increasingly hard to tighten down that loose, sagging skin, but one of the best ways to help with loose, sagging skin is to put more stuff back inside, and particularly muscle mass. Now, the muscle that makes up the back part of your arm back here is known as the triceps. Tri meaning 3 and seps meaning heads. So it has 3 heads. There's the lateral head on the outside of the triceps, the medial head on the inside of the triceps, and then a long head that actually comes up and crosses your shoulder. Now, when you put your arm out like this, it's that part down here. So that long head actually is what fills a lot of that sagging, loose skin underneath the arm. But a lot of the most common exercises that people do for their triceps actually doesn't work the long head that well. One of the most common gym exercises is just tricep press downs, where you hold on to a rope or a cable pulley and push down like that. And that is a great exercise. I like doing that one myself. But there are additional things you should be doing on top of exercises like that to help better work the long head. An additional very common triceps exercise that people do at home is something known as a dumbbell kickback. That's an exercise where you hold on to a dumbbell like this, and then you straighten your arm back this way. Now, this is actually the first tricep strengthening exercise that I'm going to show. And while it is a good exercise, it does focus more on the lateral head and the medial head than the long head, because your elbow is at your side. In order to truly work the long head, your elbow has to be away from your side or even overhead. And we'll get to some exercises for those in a moment. But on the tricep kickback, you want to pin your elbow to your side. And one really common mistake I see people making is that they start with their elbow in hyperextension and then try to come back this way. Now, not only do you lose some tension because the maximum downward force of gravity is when your arm is parallel with the ground, but additionally it puts your shoulder in hyperextension and actually further shortens the long head. So you want to pin your elbow to your side like this, and then from there on out, it's just forearm movement, contracting and squeezing your triceps. Now, a general rep range for most people ranges around 8 to 15 repetitions, 8 to 10 if you're looking more for strength building, 12 to 15 if you're looking more for muscle endurance. But really just work your arms until they get tired and fatigued, and you can't do any more repetitions with good form. So that's the first exercise, the triceps kickback. And again, that one doesn't focus on the long head all that much, but it's still a good exercise. Now, heavy compound pushing exercises, such as bench press or push-ups, are also great for building tricep strength. They don't isolate your triceps, but you can generally move heavier amounts of weight with them, which result in more muscle building all around. Now, to isolate a push-up a little bit more to your triceps, you can use a narrower grip. So instead of pressing with your arms out here, like in a normal push-up, you can bring your elbows in more towards your side, which makes it a little bit more like a triceps press. Many people will talk about doing a diamond push-up or a triangle push-up where you're pushing like this. And this is generally a harder exercise, which does focus on your triceps a little bit more. But it also puts your shoulders in a position of internal rotation, which isn't great for your shoulders, especially if you already have some shoulder pain. So what I prefer doing is a narrow grip tricep push-up like this, pinching the elbows in towards the side, and then instead of bringing your hands together, just keep them about shoulders width apart with your elbows kind of tucked in like this. Now you're going to lower yourself down, keeping the elbows pinched towards your sides, and then come back up, keeping the elbows in. You can move your body weight out forwards over your hands, which actually makes it a little bit more difficult versus a little easier if you're back here. So you can vary the intensity that way, but both of these do focus on your triceps a lot more versus when you have your arms out wider and you're moving your upper arm more. That will help bring your chest into it, which again is also a good exercise, and you will build some strength in your triceps doing this type of push-up as well. Now, the reverse of a push-up is obviously a bench press or a floor press. Again, just regular bench presses are a great option to help build tricep strength. You can do a close grip bench press, which, similar to the push-up variation that we just did, will help isolate your triceps a little bit more. If you're at home and don't have access to a weight bench, doing a floor press is a good option as well. You don't need to really bring your elbows past your trunk for a triceps exercise, so doing a floor press works as a pretty good option. I would recommend bending your knees up like this, because it flattens your lower back out a little bit, versus having the legs extended like this puts a little more arch into your lower back. So bend the knees up this way. Again, keep your elbows close to your sides, press up close to you, and then bring the arms back down like this. So this would be more the triceps variation of a floor press versus if you're going to do more of a full body bench press like this or floor press like this, you'd have the elbows out a little wider and dumbbells a little farther away from another. So this is more the triceps variation. Now beyond that, you can also do a skull crusher, which is an exercise where you bring the dumbbells down like this as if they were going to crush your skull. Then come back up this way. This is a very good variation for the long head because your shoulders are more extended and then you're bending the elbows at the same time. So it puts the long head of the triceps on a little bit more stretch, particularly at this back range. I would recommend trying to go back behind your head rather than straight down where you are actually crushing your skull. So going back this way, that'll also extend your shoulders a little bit more and put the long head of the tricep on a little more stretch. Come up that way and then come back down like this. Back up. Again, it is helpful to pinch the elbows together rather than letting them flare out. So keep the elbows pinched. And then go back up, down behind the head, and back up. And again, around 8 to 15 repetitions, but go until you start to get fatigued. Now, doing overhead dumbbell exercises is a great way to work your long head because your shoulder is not flexed just 90 degrees, but 150 to 180 degrees when you're doing overhead activities. And the first one is a shoulder press. This is a compound exercise, so it doesn't just work your triceps. It also works your shoulders and the muscles that move your shoulder blades. So it's a good all-around exercise, and additionally you can go a little bit heavier overall because it is a compound exercise. But it does also work your triceps as you're straightening your elbows up over your head like this. It's important to keep your lower back in a neutral alignment, so you don't want to allow your lower back to arch excessively. You also don't want to look upwards with your neck. So you want to keep your spine in a neutral position, head straight ahead or chin even slightly down, and then pressing up over your head like this. It is also important to note that your arms aren't straight out to the side. Your elbows are a little bit in front of your body, so that maintains shoulder external rotation as opposed to internal rotation, which is a common mistake that I see people make with shoulder presses. So you want elbows forward, hands back, and then pushing up over your head like that, or from the front like this. And again, this is a good overall compound exercise, but it does work your triceps because you're straightening your elbows above your head, which again is also good for the long head of your triceps. Now, the last exercise I'll show is an overhead dumbbell triceps extension. This one is often easiest to do it with just one dumbbell, where you're holding both hands together on the dumbbell like that. Elbows pinched together, so you don't want them to flare out too much to the side. Try to pinch your elbows together, and then you just straighten up over your head like this. This is quite possibly the best long head exercise because not only is your long head lengthened over the shoulder joints 180 degrees or close to that, but it's also lengthened over the elbows at this end range. So you're getting the long head in its maximally lengthened stretched position here, and then even in the shortened position, it's still fairly lengthened. So there's a lot of tension on that long head doing an overhead dumbbell triceps extension. So those were the exercises, but I mentioned I'd share some additional tips to help with sagging skin under the arms as well. And one of those tips is just good general skin care. Wearing sunscreen when you go out in the sun and avoiding excessive sun exposure are both good ways to help protect your skin and maintain elasticity. Additionally, avoiding smoking is also good for your skin. And proper sleep and nutrition are also vital to maintaining skin health. Now, we were just talking about building muscle, and one crucial nutrition mistake that people make is not getting enough protein in their diet to help build muscle mass. It's the raw building blocks, the raw materials that make up your muscles, and so if you're not getting enough of it, you're not going to be able to build enough muscle. Additionally, there are other vitamins that are good for your skin health. Vitamin A and vitamin E have both been shown to be essential in skin repair. Now, you can supplement those, but getting them through your diet is the best option through good amounts of fruits and vegetables in your diet. Now, if you're not getting enough, you can also supplement. I'll put some links down in the description below this video, but those are not necessarily the only options, and they may not be best for everyone. Again, eating a healthy diet is the best place to start, and then supplementing beyond that is a supplement to a healthy diet. Additionally, collagen supplements have become increasingly popular over the last several years. And although they are still the new kids on the block, there is some research supporting that collagen can be good for your skin health. What I normally tell people with supplements, if they are safe, which collagen is generally safe to take, is to try it for a month. If you notice results, keep taking it. If you're uncertain, take it for an additional month. And if you see absolutely nothing at all, then just stop. But if by 2 months you're not seeing some real noticeable results, then stop. If you notice that things get worse after you stop, then maybe it was actually helping in the first place. But be smart when using supplements. And again, a healthy diet is the place you should start. Now, an additional concern for postmenopausal women is that thyroid disorders become increasingly common in and after menopause. Especially autoimmune types of thyroid disorders such as Hashimoto's thyroiditis can start to express themselves as estrogen levels start to decline. So if you haven't seen your doctor about getting your thyroid checked, definitely do that. But even sometimes the general basic thyroid panels don't always pick up lower, more subclinical cases of thyroid disorders. You can learn more about that in this video up here, or for more upper body strength tips, check out this video down here. But before you go, if you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to our channel so you can get notified of our future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.